Hello, friends. I'm your host, Varish, and I'm hosting a new show, Tax Time with Anil Grandhi. All of us have heard the word 401k, tax deductions, social security, interest, dividends, and finally the proverbial taxes. Yet these terms elude until we seek expert advice. To solve these problems, mysteries of taxes, cumbersome of computing compound interest, or just file your regular taxes, we have a wonderful subject matter expert on taxes and proactive accounting. Anil is the 2022 Forbes Finance Council member. Anil has 17 years of experience in finance profession as finance controller, CFO, and as senior executive positions. He has worked with Amazon, Starbucks, PwC, Sun Edison, and his motive is to help the community and small business owners through tax planning, CFO, and wealth management, increase their revenues, profit and net worth. He has also written so many articles and he is a guest speaker for many national level organizations. So let's welcome our Forbes expert panel member to our show, Tax Time with Anil Grandhi. Welcome, Anil, to our show.
Thanks, Varshal. Thanks for the nice welcoming. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. So, Anil, we have few questions. As you know that it's almost this season is approaching toward the tax, which is 4 months, and it is very hectic for you and busy for you, and you guys are preparing for it. So as we know that IRS has received a little over 166 million returns in 2021, and I'm pretty sure 2022 would be a little more. So what is your say on that?
Definitely, yes, Varish, what you said is right. So IRS has received around 166 million tax returns in the last year.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
how
yes.
busy they would be? There are so many unprocessed returns with IRS still. But however, doesn't matter. We need to get ready for the upcoming tax season. And I am so glad that we are having this show for the next few months to help the taxpayers. It can be an individual or a business owner. So we are going to help the community by advising them on how to save taxes and how to get ready on filing taxes on time with more accurate and relevant information. Let's get into the topic.
Yeah, it's really good. In this pandemic time period, also we are growing into the taxes. So you can say that America is still growing, which is a good news. And businesses are again flourishing as compared to 2020. So 2021 is really comparatively a good year for everyone. So let's go ahead with that. So officially, when is a tax session takes off? Any specific dates to consider on filing tax returns?
Yes, Varish. So IRS recently announced that they are opening up accepting the application from tax applications, tax returns from January 24th of this month. So it's just few days more away. We are just away with a few days. And not only January 24th, there are few more other important dates which we should consider. So the official tax season starts from Jan 24th, but it ends on October 15th. So October 17th of this year. So just we'll go a bit more detail on the dates now. If you are an individual, you are expected to file your tax returns by April 18th of this year. However, you do also have an option to file an extension by filing a form called 4868, and you have more time to file your taxes by October 17th. Point to be noted here is, even though the filing a tax return due date is extended by October 17th, you can't extend paying taxes on time. You have to pay your taxes by April 18th. This is for the individuals. If you are a business owner, the dates are slightly different.
Okay.
If you are running an S corporation, or if you are a partnership, if you have a partnership and you need to file a tax return, the due date to file tax returns are March 15th, and same process you can file for an extension and you need to file taxes by September 15th. So these dates are very, very important to consider. And we are just a couple of months away from the tax season, but it's time now to start working for those to file your taxes on time, because there are a lot of things to consider.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone has to underline the dates, they're very important. So that makes sense. And that's really good information, like because we sometimes miss the dates. So I would suggest my viewers maybe make a calendar note of yourself so that you are on time. So let's go to the next part. With your we have a pretty good experience, vast experience in the field of taxation for more than like 1.5, 2 decades. So what are the basic steps to follow the kickstart of the tax filing process? So what do you guide to our viewer, like when they are preparing for their taxation, like coming up? So what are the items or what is the right method they should follow so that they do not miss anything? So they value everything, whatever they do.
Sure, Varish, I will explain this. The first and most important thing, everyone has to update their records with their employer, their banker. If kids are going to the daycare, with the school also, and if you are running a business, you need to ensure that you are updating your latest details. It can be an address, it can be a partner's details, or it can be your personal information. Please update the details as soon as possible. There is a reason why I'm asking this. By January 31st, all these service providers are going to send you some forms, which can be a W-2 form. If you are working, your employer will be sending a W-2 form. And if you are doing some stock transactions, investment, stock trading, you may be getting 1099B. And if you're working on self-employment basis, you may be getting 1099, and you may get even 1098 form if you have a mortgage loan. All these forms will be received by January 31st. So ensure that you are receiving all those documents and keeping it ready, and be ready and be ready with your books of accounts, be organized, and you be ready to file your taxes by January 31st once you receive all this information. Right. And also the most important thing is many people miss is check your ITIN validity. That's very important.
That's important too. Yeah, we'll come off with this question also. So this is management of your documentation is very important, because I'm a common man, and I'm telling you honestly, like mostly I miss it, and I prepare the things on the day when I have a meeting with my accountant, and that is like where I fail also every year I fail it. So, but for last some time I'm trying to manage a Excel sheet. Because in the beginning of the year we get W-2 and then mortgage things and other bank details, interest and all that stuff. So I think the documentation, as you suggested, is very, very important, because we missed one thing, which means it's a dollar amount is missed, and it's a hard-earned money in US. And the beauty of this country is it teaches us the value of dollar, and at every stage it's important to take the advice of accountant and move forward.
Yes, Varish. And I want to add one comment here. As you rightly mentioned, we put so much of effort to earn a dollar. And if you do it, if you work on your tax returns in the last minute, you are in rush. You may be missing something. If you miss something to declare, you will be paying interest and penalty later. If you are missing something to claim as a deduction, you are paying more taxes because your incomes are up, because you didn't claim some expenses. So why do you want to donate to IRS unnecessarily? So just be organized. The success to file to optimize your taxes is be organized. The success formula is be organized and keep your records handy and ensure that they are up to date, so that you can work with your accountant or tax pro and ensure that you are optimizing all your taxes and within the due date.
Right. This is very important for individual taxpayers or business also. So business sometimes they have a different way of managing, but individuals it's a good suggestion all the time. To manage it properly, as you suggested also.
Yeah,
that's the point. So going forward, we are hearing about the ITIN renewals. What is that story?
As I was mentioning in your previous question, ITIN, checking the applicability or checking the eligibility or the validity. Checking the validity of ITIN is very, very important, because what happens, the ITIN valid only for 3 years. And if any of your, in our community, most of our family members may be on I-10. They don't have an SSN number and they are on I-10. If you are an H-1B, your family might be on I-10. And if you have a valid I-10, then only you get a $500 tax deduction per person. If you don't have an I-10, or if your I-10 is expired, you are losing this benefit. You are losing this deduction, tax deduction. And I strongly recommend you to check the availability, the validity of your I-10. And when you, in the last 3 years, every 3 years you need to renew. In the last 3 years, if you have not renewed your I-10 application, then it's time for you now to submit for I-10 renewal when you file your taxes. If you miss it, then IRS will decline your tax credit for your dependents, and you are losing couple of thousands of dollars for your family. So just be proactive on I-10 renewal.
Yes. So I-10 is like if you do not have social security for the families, those who have come to US on H1 or the L1 or the different visas. So that is like somewhere like I-10 comes into the picture.
Yes, correct. For the dependents. So if you're an H1B, your family might be dependents. For them, you get an I-10.
Right. Exactly. So it has like value nowadays too much. We cannot miss it. We cannot afford to miss it, I would say.
Yes, correct.
Going forward, like it definitely makes sense to plan ahead to have the funds ready when we owe the taxes. So what we plan when we are expecting refunds? I mean, like when we the refunds. So what are the plannings proactively on that?
Okay. So once we have all these documents ready, then what we should do is don't wait till last minute to file your taxes. So every document you are supposed to receive by January 31st, whatever the documents, whatever I quoted before. Once you get the documents, go and spend some time with a tax pro or a tax advisor to go through all your details and ensure that we have all the documentation. If you go in the last minute, you may be that everyone is busy. This is the tax season is like super hectic for us. And it is even hectic is very it's an understatement. We would be super busy in the year during this March, April, February, March and April. We are very busy. If you come late, it's very difficult to get time from a tax pro. Rather, go now once you get all the documents and go and meet a tax pro and ensure that you are filing the taxes in early rather than in the last minute. Then you can also say that you may be thinking to file your taxes by using TurboTax. Okay. Just I want to add one comment here. Okay. TurboTax might be the great, but a point to be noted here is when you file taxes with your TurboTax, you don't know if you do any mistakes unless or until you get a notice from your IRS.
Yes. That's a good point.
The tax document, tax return is the most important document in the year. Right. It's okay to pay a couple of hundreds of dollars and get the work done by a professional. Rather, you spend time and understanding the tax act and filing a tax return. Because in the last couple of years, because of the COVID, there are so many tax act changes have come up. There are so many tax credits are available, so many benefits are available. And if you are simple, straightforward W-2, I'm okay if you want to go with the TurboTax. But if you have anything more than W-2, I strongly recommend you to consider talking with a tax pro to file your taxes. And if you owe your taxes, definitely I don't recommend you to delay this process because you need to pay taxes by the due date. But if you are expecting a refund, then I strongly recommend you consider this as a financial planning. The early you file your taxes, you get your refund much faster. So and on average, you get the refund in the next couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks to 5 weeks. So I recommend you to file the taxes fast, so you get your refund fast. That money you can go and invest somewhere else, and you can start making some interest on that money rather than keeping that money with IRS. So just be ahead in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's really like the good statement. I give you my personal experience also on the same thing. I'm not a tax guy like you're expert, so I'm like just a common man, like who was on H1 one time and now on green card. So I came to US like almost like 15 years back. So my experience is also exactly same. Like few of my friends were telling me, go with TurboTax, that is free, this and that. But honestly, like I never been to TurboTax or any other free source, because you guys are the master of your trade. Like we are master of our trade, but you guys are master of your trade. So on that basis, like you guys know that what is the threshold, what is the limit, like you should put it into one thing and into the different segments. So people think like we end up saving a couple of $100, but you guys help with the indirect saving, which doesn't come in the front of the camera. Fact is like taking a help from the tax advisor by filing the tax returns every year. It's always a good idea. Like that's, I suggest to my friends, like whoever come to US new, so I tell them go with the tax advisor all the time. So you guys like end up helping. And even like sometimes there are some issues after like as you suggested, like IRS is coming behind with some questions and they will send you some query. So that time also, like tax advisor, whoever is your tax advisor, like he will guide you further also in case you are having some queries or questions. So that's how like the whole game is. Like it's better to go and take the right advice. Forward, like on a lighter note, I would say like Mr. Anil, like tell me like which Avenger pays the least taxes? Is it Captain America, Shrek, Spider-Man? So what do you think?
Good question, Varish.
Avengers, Shrek, like what do you think? Like
I believe it should be Spider-Man because he always plays within the net. It's always a net.
yeah, absolutely. We were thinking the same. Like that's a good answer. And like Spider-Man is always in the news.
Yep. And actually, Spider-Man is my. Still now he's my favorite. So from my childhood, he's my favorite.
Yeah, we recently watched his latest movie last week. So that's
Yep.
all right. So going forward, like I have like a couple of more things to discuss. Like let's say like how we can plan ahead. We either like don't have to pay too much of taxes or get a huge refund.
Yes. This is also very frequently I get this question from my clients or my friends. So, how much taxes you pay now will depend on how much taxes you paid already, or how much taxes were withheld when you were getting your paycheck. If the withholding amount, if withholding tax amounts were less in the last year, you will be resulting in paying more taxes. Many people think, hey, my tax guy doesn't know I am paying a lot of taxes. That's not the fact. So the fact is you didn't pay enough taxes in advance to IRS. So what is the solution? The solution is we recommend you to adjust the withholding amounts. So if you are working on a W-2, I recommend you to go and update your W-4 form with your employer and ensure that you are not overpaying of taxes or you are not underpaying of the taxes. Whatever you do, you may be getting a big refund. If you do overpayment of taxes in the year, you may get bigger refunds at the end of the year. Or if you were doing underpayment of taxes to IRS through your paycheck every month, you may be paying more taxes now, which will be a big impact on your pocket. So all of a sudden, you might not be ready. And if you are a business owner, I strongly recommend you to consider paying estimated taxes every quarter as required by IRS. And you can use the form called 1040 ES. This form is available in IRS website directly. So which will help you to calculate how much estimated taxes you need to pay in advance every quarter.
Right. Refunds, like everyone love it. You and I love it.
Yep. You pay more taxes, you get more refund. That's it.
Yeah. There are like many times I have to pay. So then it is a problem. So that's a good point. Like some people do the on the W-2, they mark it as a single withholding or something like that, right? And sometimes like they add on the withholding with some particular amount. So that's a good thing. Like they have to calculate a little bit, not much, but a little bit in advance. So that's a good point actually. So refunds, but it's not always the case. Like it is like whatever the US governments has designed the law. So we have to go with that. So which is very true. Yep. So going forward, like that reminds me of like what is if there is a capital gain on the sale of an asset? So if it is not a regular income, should estimated tax be paid then also? What do you say?
Yes, Varish. As I was mentioning, if you are working for someone, you get a paycheck. It's employer responsibility to withhold the taxes every month. But if you are the boss, if you have self-employed income, or major capital gains. So it's your obligation to pay taxes, estimated taxes in advance. So for the last year, for the year 2021, the due date to file estimated taxes is January 18th, 2022. So ensure that you are paying whatever the required taxes. There are different calculations are there. I am not going in detail those calculations considering the shortage of the time. If you don't pay your taxes on time by January 18th, whatever you are obligated to pay to IRS, you may be on estimated taxes. So you may be paying interest and penalty for the late payment of estimated taxes. And for this year, past is over. At least for this year, you ensure that you are doing all the estimated taxes, tax payments on time. The due dates to consider is the first due date is the first upcoming date is April 18th is the first due date, and after April 18th, June 15th, September 15th, and next year January 17th. Every quarter you are obligated to see how much income you are making, how much taxes you need to pay, and you need to pay those taxes by these quarters. So otherwise you may be paying interest and penalties. So it's very important. And if you have any capital gains, many people don't realize that they need to pay taxes and estimated taxes when they have capital gains. You might have sold some big chunk of stock, or you might have sold your property. You might you might had capital gains in the last year. And when you file taxes, you may be seeing very big tax bills with interest and penalties. So I strongly recommend you to pay estimated taxes even on the capital gains also by the given estimated tax payment tax due dates.
Okay. That's good. That's a very good information. Maybe I will add on to this one. Like that's my question. Like let's say like we have a property in back home, right, where we were citizen or we are citizen, but we are on either on the H1 or green card or citizen in the US. So like can our guys, like if anyone is selling their property of like $300,000 or $400,000 in India or any other country, their home country, so they can bring that money into US or not really? Or like, do they have to give extra tax on top of that, or how this works?
Good question, Varish. So there is no double taxation in America. India and America has a double taxation avoidance agreement. So how does it work? If you have some capital gains in India, you are expected to file taxes in India, you are expected to pay taxes in India, and you have to disclose that capital gains in America, in US, when you file tax returns in US, and you can take an international tax credit for the amount whatever you paid as two taxes in India. So there is no double taxation, but at one place you have to pay taxes and you have to disclose this income in both the countries.
Okay.
And once you pay all these taxes, there are some it's form called form 13 CB. So once you get that from the local chartered accountant, you can get that money also to US.
Oh, nice. Because this is a question, it came from my friend recently, like we were talking last week. So he has to sell his property. I said, like, that's a good point. So do we have any like million amounts or 2 million, or there is any limit on it?
There are some restrictions. Okay, so what we can have one more session on one day, repatriation of funds from India, because that's a bit more detailed. Okay, so there are different limits like 250K or 1 million on based on different parameters. So we can have one more session on that. But yes, they can get the money. This our money, you can get the money. Once you pay taxes, definitely you can bring money from India.
Good point also in one sense. So we will definitely like plan it in one of the next shows in the same series. Yep. So further going, like, is there anything related to tax code that must be specifically considered when like filing 2021 tax returns?
Yes, Varish. As I was mentioning, there are some changes has taken place because of the COVID in the last couple of years. Last year, in the year 2021, many of us have received some advance payment towards child tax credit.
Yes.
Generally, you get your child tax credit when you file your taxes based on how many kids you have, all those things. How much money you get and everything, we'll cover it in a separate session. But if you received any advance, then you are also supposed to receive a letter from IRS. It's called letter 6419. IRS will send a letter to you. Hey, Varish, I have sent you this money to you as an advance. And that letter is very, very important. You are expected to share this letter with your tax pro when you file your tax returns. and and ensure that those are only advances. Those amounts have to be adjusted with the actual tax credit when you file 2021 tax return. This is a very, very important, and this is the first time it happened. Previously, we never received advances for our child tax credit, but now last year we received advances for our against our child tax credits.
Yes, yes. Even I got like few child credits. So good point. Like I will also include in my spreadsheet before going to accountant. Yeah. So that's a good thing. So like going forward, like what are the other ones about? Like economic impact payments and the recovery rebate credits. So what are the other ones?
Yes. So apart from child tax credit, okay, last year, many of us have also received economic impact payments. They are nothing but recovery rebate credit. IRS has given some money to all the taxpayers. So we received money in 2020. We received money in 2021 also. In 2021, we received around $1,400 for around $1,400 based on income threshold limits you received. If at all, if you received that money, you are please expect to receive letter 6475. It's letter number from IRS to which will explain how much money you received from IRS. That is also very, very important letter which you should gather it this year, and you need to share it with your tax pro when you file taxes. So, and if you are eligible, but if you have not received your rebate money, your recovery rebate credit, don't worry, you can claim that money when you file your taxes. So, so your money is there. So if at all, if anyone received last year, that was only advance, and these forms are very, very important. So these are the very important points to be considered when you file your taxes. So, and when you file taxes, if you want to file taxes on your own, this is all about interpretation of law. If you wrongly interpret any of the provisions, you may be filing our tax returns wrong if you're doing it on your own. So, and you don't know unless you receive your IRS notice that you missed something. So it's very, very important to consider, points to be considered.
Makes sense. So as everyone knows that America is the land of opportunities. So we know that like a lot of like even like people, those who come to US or those who are in US, they always like try their hands in the business. So what are the tips you give to the business owners, those who are running their businesses?
Helping business owners is one of my passion. And I always encourage people to start a business because America is land of opportunities. Yep. If you have an relevant visas to start your business, you should have something as side gig. If you don't have otherwise it can be even a full time also. So start something where you are passionate. Running a business is one side, and saving taxes from your business income is also very, very important. IRS has given many incentives, many tax credits, many tax deductions exclusively for the business owners. So what is very important to be noted here from the tax returns filing perspective, please maintain your records as detailed as possible. It can be your invoices, it can be your bank statements, it can be your receipts, or if you are spending money whenever you go out, if you spend money, maintaining your keeping your receipts hand is very, very, storing your receipts are very, very important. You are expected to save at least for 3 years. You need to keep your records at least for 3 years after you file your tax returns. So please store all your receipts whenever you spend some money for the business purpose. And on every receipt, please do mention why you are spending this money, with whom you went out and spent this money. These are very, very important. And please reconcile your books. Don't wait till last minute to file your taxes before filing a tax returns. The December is over. Last year is already closed. The opportunity to save taxes are very limited now. So now just you finalize all your numbers, reconcile your banks, reconcile your books, prepare your financial statements, balance sheet, income statement, and come to finalize your profit numbers also. So, and this is the time business owners have to start working on finalizing the books. Otherwise, in the last minute, if you do something in rush, you may be missing big tax deduction opportunities. So
Right. So we are almost like coming to the end. So my friends, like they want to ask, like how accountants pick their friends.
How accountants pick their friends.
That's just like
Yeah,
funny
it's a good
thing.
question. It's good question.
Yeah.
So friendship is different, friends are different, business is different. Okay. So interestingly, many of my clients are my friends.
Mhm.
So
That's
we maintain very good relationship with our clients. It's like working with the doctors. When you work with an accountant, it's like working with the doctors. You need to share everything. When you share everything, you are becoming very close to the heart. People try to be more friendly when you with the accountants.
that's a good thing. Like because we give like one third of our life to work, so work should be like a family and friends. So
Yeah.
that's from you. Yeah. So we are coming to the end. And what are the suggestions at the end you would like to give it to this chat show, tech show? So please
Yeah.
suggest the tech show we are running. So Tech Talk with AG. So please give some closing words so that our viewers will look forward. Yeah.
Sure, Varish. And it's always my pleasure to share my knowledge with the community. And I request everyone, don't rush in the last minute. It's a very simple process. Just be organized. Just you need to list down few documents, keep the documents ready, and file taxes on time so that you can avoid interest and penalties. And
Yeah.
try to register, try to do all your payments with an IRS in electronic mode so that you get your, when you file your taxes also, e-filing of your tax returns, so that you get your refunds much faster. If you
Yeah.
send your tax return by mail, by a written document, a printed document, it will take so many days and
Right.
even years IRS is taking to process
Yeah.
your refund. So give every best effort to file your taxes online, e-file. Okay, that's all. And thank you very much for this opportunity, Varish, and to the management also. I'm so glad that I got an opportunity to share my knowledge so that everyone will be ready to start saving taxes. And we'll go with many more shows in the next couple of months. And every show, I try to bring a lot of value addition. So stay
Yeah.
tuned for more details. And thanks, Varish.
Thanks viewer for looking into our show and like giving us opportunity to serve you. And Anil like has suggested like very good suggestions, so I would suggest like please review these. If you have any questions, you can reach us, or you can bring us by email, so we can send you our emails also in the notes. So possibly like we'll have more sessions very soon. So thanks Anil, and we are looking forward with that for more seasons. Yeah.
Sure, Varish. Thank you very much. Thanks for this
Yep.
opportunity.
So Anil, it was wonderful talking to you. So friends, it's a time to leave, and I will be back next week with more text tips in our show called Text Time with Anil Grandhi. Until then, have a nice time. This is your host Varish. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.